Okay, so welcome to the second episode of the Penspinning Podcast, and today I'm with the workshop creator Hobby.
Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
Pretty cool. So tell us something more about this workshop. What's this all about? Why did you create this? What was the aim?
Well, you can actually see the blog post I wrote before I actually made the workshop, and on my Discord server I also wrote a objective kind of thing and the rules and info. But essentially I made it because I took a break from pen spinning after a little bit, and then when I came back I'm like, well, UPSB isn't here. I don't really like how the community is right now, and I really wanted to, I guess, create something else. There's nothing really wrong, I would say, with the other Discord servers, like the other English Discord servers, but what I wanted to make was like a place for people to learn. And I felt like the other Discord servers lacked that a little bit because I felt like that was a better place to socialize than it was to learn. That's why my Discord servers might be a little more strict on being you know, acting proper or whatever, or acting with manners or whatever. But it's mainly there
Yeah,
to help people learn. So that's the entire
sure.
reason for that.
Like your server is just more beginner oriented and it's more structured.
hmm
Like I see it as better organized Discord server rather than just UPSB talk chat.
Yeah, that was the intent pretty much. I actually do know the history behind the Reddit Discord server and the Mango's Discord server. I'm sure you're familiar with
Oh,
those two,
Mango
right?
one.
Yeah. Those Discord servers, well, the Reddit Discord server started out as just an addition to Reddit. When Discord came out,
Yeah,
people were like, "Oh, cool, there's this new platform, they basically reinvented the IRC chat or basically the chat room, right? And people jumped on it if they were on Reddit. So that's where people hung out for a while because Mango's Discord server didn't exist back then. I actually know exactly what happened in terms of how Mango's Discord server got created, but what I will say, because I don't want to be too public about everything, is that Discord server basically was created more as a friend circle, right? It started as a group of friends, kind of, from the people from UPSB or whatever, and then they just ended up adding more and more and more people. Eventually, it became like 1,000 members or something, and it
yeah,
grew like
like it's
crazy.
huge right now.
Yeah, so that's the
Like I remember,
slight history of it.
like I remember when it was just this friendly invites and you invited me and I was like, damn, pretty cool server, but like nothing really happened there.
Yeah,
And now it's just the center of everything in Pennsylvania.
really. That's actually really cool that you experienced it. I know I invited you, right? You experienced it in the very beginning, and then you came back. I'm sure,
Yeah,
were you there the entire time, or did you just kind of stop active being active there as much?
no, I mean, in the beginning, I wasn't really after there because Mango server was way more active and
Oh, yeah.
a workshop like this thing that on Mango server there were like more people to talk and
hmm
but when workshop developed now it's like everyone's there. You get this WordCamp channel, PS Media channel, which I check basically daily.
Yeah, same, actually. That's one of my favorite
Yeah,
channels to go.
and it's like wow, now it's great.
Yeah, once I opened it up to the public, I guess people were just like, "Oh, this is cool." But I guess at first I wanted to sort of learn in the beginning, and I kept it private on
Hmm.
purpose so I can just not have to deal with a sudden influx of people all at once, and I don't know how to handle it with the amount of
Oh
help I had at
yeah,
the time.
yeah.
So even
It's
right now,
just
right?
starts slow.
hmm Yeah, even right now, I recently, a couple months ago, I got a new moderator to help me out in the Discord server. So
Hmm.
because the Discord server is growing, so we need more people to help. And also, Coffee wanted to take a break from moderating as much, so that's fair. He's
Oh
been
yeah,
doing
I
so much
mean,
work.
understandable. Engaged so much in organization of events and stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, it's a great server now, and like this. Oh, I hadn't really checked out that much this beginning Virginia servers, but they look pretty cool. Like they can just ask, post their videos,
Hmm.
post their angles, and basically ask for anything.
Yeah, that's nice. I actually haven't. One of the things I actually kind of avoid doing in the workshop is I try not to go to the pen spinning help area too much because most of the time, whenever I click on those, I'm like, I have like this impulse to help answer people's questions, and then I'll be there all day, and then it's just like, oh,
Oh,
I gotta stop
wow,
myself from like going overboard, you know?
nice.
I don't know. When someone asks you like a simple pen spinning question, right? That you can
Yeah,
answer super easily, it's just
yeah,
like
in like 1 minute.
it's just like, oh, let me just answer it real quick. But then like,
Then
it's
another
just
one, another one, another one.
mhm. I do still answer questions from time to time, but for my main focus right now is just, just hanging out and like talking about a lot of pen spinning theory stuff. I don't know if you've seen that channel been popping off lately.
But like for me, it's also cool that it's some kind of UPSB shelter right now. That
Yeah.
UPSB community can go in one place. It doesn't have this website, which you got all those resources, but Workshop is doing pretty well as a substitute, I guess.
I'd say so, yeah. And that was the main goal, was to just have some place for people to go to, right? And I really, really appreciate how people have been like, I don't know, they've been also very appreciative towards us, like the people in the staff, and also like just everyone else. I mean, I feel like at this point, I'm not actually doing as much work as everyone else is because, I mean, it took a year to get to this point, right? When this
Yeah,
was
but like
created, it was like,
you took Workshop to this point.
yeah, it was like 2019, like December, I think, when I first created it. And there was no one in it. I was just like trying to set everything up. So it's been a journey for sure, and a journey of learning
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, true, but I guess it's better too when you're doing some kind of the servers, like you said, start small.
Hmm.
Just first make the server only with friends, then just add some more people and some more, just not to get 1,000 people at once,
Hmm.
because then you might get overwhelmed and have no idea how to organize this.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really happy with how the server's been doing lately, actually.
Like with this World Cup channels and stuff.
Well, it's just I don't know, like so I'm sure like some people know if you've been in the workshop for a while, but I disappeared for like a good couple months, like last year, I think, like a good
Hmm.
couple months last year or something. Um, not and I just like I think I was just tired or burnt out. Like I didn't want anything to do with pen spinning at the time anymore, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean you're spinning for like 10 years or more.
Yeah. And Coffee eventually told me like, oh, I'm gonna take a break from the international like scene, or like international, or just like moderating and stuff in general. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. So that became like me being like, okay, I need to look for a new moderator. And by
Oh,
finding a new moderator, I ended up being involved in the community again.
yeah, like nice to have people who will just take care of it instead of you do.
Yeah. I like to think like I'm the person who like thinks of the ideas and like gives the direction, or like I'm the person who
Oh,
like
and
has like
like,
does that kind of job, and these guys kind of help me do the work, right?
oh,
Back then I've
nice.
always felt like I could do everything. I was a teenager, I want to do everything, right? But nowadays it's
Yeah,
just
true, true.
you can't do that anymore. You really need help. Like, if you have work, you have your daily life stuff, when you grow up, You just don't have time for that anymore.
I don't know, honestly. I still have time. But okay. Next, where do you see workshop in like few months or a year time?
I don't
How
know.
do you think it will go, in which direction?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Like, I hope it'll grow, I guess. I hope it'll do better.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope I'll like add things to it that'll make it a better community. Like I've already had like a lot of ideas and stuff. Like where Pong, my moderator, the newer moderator, is wanted to make emotes for the server, and his brother turns out to be an artist, so
Oh,
he can
wow.
make some emotes. So we can do that, and I feel like having some like cool little emotes to like mess around with can like help with our community a little bit. Just being like, oh, these are the like if
It might.
someone has Nitro in the server, right? They can use the emotes in a different server, and they'll like think of this server, I guess too. Like it makes the community like I don't know. Like we have an identity, I guess. We have more of a brand. I guess that's a better way to say it.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's more of an identity. Like, I mean, emotes are not only the identity, but I guess like they are something individual to your server.
Hmm.
Like they are something personal. Like many servers got this. If they just get their own emotes, they're like, okay, that's where you're. Because like emotes are most characteristic, most meme parts of the server.
Yeah. They
Like
can
you
be
will
the
have this
memes of the
Isaac
server
face.
as well, right? They just can be
Yeah, true.
memes as well. All right, so
Because
hopefully
like
that gets
I mean
done.
they will just turn out to be just memes.
Yeah, I'm trying not to do that because this is not supposed to be like a shitposty kind of server, but I'm hoping
And it will end up like this.
maybe in other places, but we'll see how it goes. Because I'm very particular about how like like my ideas for the emails. I don't want. I mean, no matter what people like do, like whatever, no matter what the emote is, people are gonna find a way to use it in like a stupid way. But I'm trying to
True,
make it
true.
like a supposed to be used in a more positive way or whatever, or more encouraging way or
Yeah.
whatever. But I don't know. There's a lot of like I know we're just talking about emotes, right? It feels like it's such a tiny thing, but there's a lot of stuff about like I guess the Discord, like if you're or any community where you're trying to like adjust things, right? But you don't want people to think a certain way or like or you don't want people to act a certain way because of a certain change. Like for example, like if I changed like made certain oldies right have a special role like above everyone else, a special color. Well, not sure if I want people to think that they're better than everyone else, kind of thing, stuff like that.
Yeah, I get you. True.
So like
Yeah,
changes like that,
yeah.
like small things, I actually do think about those a lot, and I feel like I don't know, I feel like it's important for people to think about as well.
I mean, yeah, that's actually true that some small things like this, all this stuff, and it can make a huge difference. And it's really cool that you think about it because it is important, but it's not that. I mean, it's hard to think about all this small stuff because it seems unrelatable. It seems so just. It seems like it wouldn't change much, and then like as you said, it might feel like all these are better and just pissing off the younger ones.
Hmm. Maybe it's just because like I'm like maybe like I have a little bit of like I'm kind of socially anxious person, so like maybe it's just because like I want to like make it so people feel safe regardless of if they like feel anxious or whatever. Because I think most like new spinners who are like fairly young, right, like 12, 13 years old, they get on the
Yeah,
server and
might
they're
be,
like scared
might
to
be.
say stuff. Sorry, what were you saying?
So yeah, I said that yeah, they might be like 12 or 13. So true that it's cool that it's family friendly server.
Hmm. And it's really cool that I actually heard Dark KT talk about my server. And I know he's a moderator here, but it was just nice
Yeah,
to hear.
but
I
yeah,
felt really
it's, I mean, yeah, I guess you. Like, you made this server, so many people helped you, but it's cool when you hear that someone is talking about this and
good.
saying nice stuff.
Especially during this time, right, with the virus and stuff. This is like kind of a distraction for me, and it makes me feel like, you know, stuff is not as bad as it is.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm not like going through like anything like as things as bad as some other people. Like I'm not like very affected by it. But it's just like, when you're like stuck at home, right? You just kind of feel bad, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's true. I mean, you
when
don't
people,
have to, but you often do.
yeah, but when like I create something or like I make something for the community and people tend like actually appreciate what I did, that feels really
Uh,
good. That really
yeah,
feels
yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah.
Like I'm sure like it feels really good when like you and Artec or whoever is like, making the website and like making everything nice and people
I mean,
just start.
it's Arctic only. I'm just telling him what to do.
Oh yeah. But I mean like that's still a job, right? You're still like trying to organize. You have like a thought like of what you want it to look like maybe and stuff like that.
Yeah, a little bit. Also, like some of our guys helping,
Mm, okay.
but the programming stuff is only Arctic.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, it is like you have this project that you're in the quarantine and you need to do something. And I mean, I used to do a lot of stuff when I mean, before quarantine, and now I just can't because I can't go out. Okay, well, like I was thinking about this. You said that you look forward to beginners take this stylish and aesthetic approach to pen spinning instead of just going full try hard into
Mhm.
hard stuff. Like, do you see many beginners just take this aesthetic style, or is it just power, and hard tricks?
Well, I think like the people on the server, like on the workshop server, I don't think like all of them go like full power or anything. I think a lot of them are still fairly new, and it's cool to like see them just hang around and like learn and talk. But yeah, I definitely do have like a interest in more aesthetic or like visuals of inside of pen
Oh yeah.
spinning, right? And like, you know, it's difficult, I guess, to teach that. I guess that's one of the reasons why I made that article. I don't know if you saw, but like there's this article I wrote about like
Yeah,
finger
I've
positioning.
seen it. Really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I appreciate it.
Recommend it.
But yeah, it's an article about finger positioning, which just kind of describes how like the way like certain like different where you place your wherever you place your fingers when you do certain tricks, right? It can influence how it looks, basically. That's all it really is. And
Yeah, but I mean, it's more from because it's a way like it shows beginners a way how they can even start thinking about aesthetic spinning because there's no real tutorial for it.
no, there isn't. Yeah, I don't know if you've also there's also a YouTube video that has English subs. It's not in English, but it's a Kai's style
Uh-huh.
video. Like he got help from Ayano from JEB to like get some input
Oh,
about it.
okay. This one.
Yeah, it's also linked on my blog post that I wrote about the thing. But that was interesting to read as well.
I
Yeah,
might
I
watch
guess
it
I'm
because I
reading. Yeah,
saw
I mean I'm
with Kai
watching
and
the video.
Ayano.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, I saw with Kai and Ayano, and I thought it's just okay. Japanese, not for me.
I feel like
But
the
well,
stuff
if
that
it has
Akai
English
said.
subtitles. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the English subtitles. Yeah, the things that Akai said in there, or I guess I know technically said, like basically they were they're kind of pretty general things, right? It's stuff that you kind of say as an oldie, like as an older spinner, you're gonna be like, okay, you kind of do this or do that, but like you can't really tell them like how to do it exactly. It's just kind of
Okay,
like
because
how do you teach
that's
someone combo structure very simply, you know? Like, how do you
Yeah,
teach
it
someone?
comes from experience.
Yeah, exactly, right? I know you guys were talking about it in the previous podcast a little bit as well, but like, it's not something where you can just go like, oh yeah, you just order like put your tricks together in this way and that's it. Like, it's not, you don't just ship it out, like put a stamp on it, you know? Like, you gotta like
Yeah,
explain
there's
all
no
the.
simple solution.
So like, when it comes to style, it's very similar where it's like I can tell you like, I guess, how to kind of do it, but like I can't really tell you
Yeah.
exactly because it's different for everyone, right? Like, you have to do what works for you. But ultimately,
Yeah.
ultimately, your style should be something that you like. Because if you don't like your own spinning, then that's just, you won't like pen spinning anymore, right?
I mean,
Like,
yeah, sure, sure.
so you really need to like focus on something that you like as well. Like RPD, for example, has been talking to me a little bit because he's not on World Cup, but he wants to like, he got back into spinning and he like wanted to like get like better execution and all of that stuff. And it was just quite tough, you know, when you're coming back from more of like a technical background, trying to do like more visual, make it like look nicer. I've gone through like a very similar thing because like my spinning back in the day was actually very different from the spinning I that my spinning is now. Like, my spinning right now is like, you know, old school kind of like Korean style where
Yeah,
they,
it is. It is so
yeah.
old school.
And back then I used to be like a Feltu Fram fanboy. Like, I used to
Oh,
do
wow.
like, I learned like twirls, like, you know, his twirl video, I learned twirls and all that stuff. So I did all these weird tricks, and then one day I was like, my spinning looks really bad. Like, how do I
Huh.
make this look better? And it really just comes from like experience and just like sticking around a lot. I think you talk to people, get advice, and just, you know, you keep going, you keep carving away at it. Like, even Isaac, right? Isaac is a technical spinner, but I think fairly recently he started trying to like improve his execution and all that, right? So,
Yeah, definitely. Execution and effect.
mhm. So like, even for technical spinners, I think there's important lessons to be learned about style, basically, and aesthetics, because you can use it to make your combo more effective.
Yeah. And like, I mean, what you said is also good, I guess a good advice for beginners that there is no clear tutorial, but you just film your stuff and ask people for advice.
Hmm.
And that's how
Yeah.
you get better.
I actually have had ideas about making like a style kind of guide, and I wrote a bunch of notes and stuff, but writing articles like that is so much work. Oh
Yeah, man, I
man.
mean, it's helpful because there's just some idea how to do this. Because when I tried stylish spinning, I had no idea where to start.
Hmm.
Like, I didn't even know what to focus on, what to do instead of. I heard advice only like go copy Japanese spinners, go experiment, see what looks for you. And I was like, okay, what does this even mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's really tough, right? You can't, it's hard to explain something that's so natural that like that you understand when
Yeah,
you're
it is.
like watching, right? Like, when you watch pen spinning videos, you're like, "Oh, I like that spinner." Well, you feel it, right?
Oh, yeah,
You don't just like
yeah, yeah.
mathematically understand because of how many rotations they did or whatever tricks they're doing. Like, you feel like you like the spinner, and like trying to analyze like that feeling that you get from certain tricks is very difficult, right?
Yeah, it is. But maybe we can find a way to analyze it and
Hmm.
then we can copy basically everyone's style.
I um I wrote in Theory Talk recently about like, I was studying arm and wrist movement in when it like how
Oh,
it like
okay.
affects visuals, like the visuals and like aesthetic of a combo. And it's very interesting because like it's something I actually didn't think about that much, because when like as a like a Korean sort of style, like a mech, like, you know, like old school kind of PDS style spinner, like you don't really move your arm too much, but like there are spinners that actually use it very well. Like, for example, like Ramo has like a very like floaty kind of like wrist movement, and like it's very like flowing with the pen that when he spins, right?
Yeah, like
And
this intentional wrist movement.
mhm. stuff like that can
That's
very
hard, I guess.
yeah stuff like that can enhance your spinning, but it's also very difficult to do if it's
Yeah, it
unnatural.
is.
Dami
It
is another
is.
example. All these people. You want So we were talking about that, and it was a pretty interesting conversation. I can't really say like exactly how you deal with like how you learn it, but it's just you have to like experiment and feel it out and see how it supports the tricks that you're performing, right? You can't just do
Yeah, true.
random arm movements during random tricks.
And yeah, and you need to have this sense of what looks good. And I guess you get it only once you watched enough Japanese videos.
Japanese videos specifically though.
Yeah.
I do watch a lot of Japanese videos, but I've been watching plenty of Korean old school like PDS spinning a lot because that's where
Uh-huh.
our spinning comes from, right? That's where our like the history of pen spinning, I feel like, and
Yeah, I mean,
analyzing the old stuff.
for you, true, but for me, it's just unwatchable.
Like, is it just too
Because you
blurry
grew
and
up,
it's
I
just
mean,
like,
you grew up on this. No, but it's also the quality, like the link itself. Like it's not that refined and it's not that hard, and like you grew up on this, so for you it's classic stuff. But
I
for
did.
me,
The
it's
thing is,
just
I actually did not like start spinning and watch those. I was not
oh,
around during 2007, 2009 at all. So like
uh
this is from me like learning kind of Korean style spinning and being like, these guys are actually really good. Like considering the stuff I'm trying to
okay,
learn. Like when you, it's like when you learn technical spinning, you'll appreciate technical spinners. When you learn like aesthetic spinning or like MX kind of spinning, you'll appreciate MX spinners more, kind of
oh
thing,
maybe,
right? So like maybe it's just the understanding I get from like watching like so many pen spinning videos. Like, but I guess that's also another point. I guess that's important for people who are trying to learn pen spinning now is to try to get better or at watching pen spinning videos or try to like just watch it. Not maybe not always to enjoy it, but like try to analyze it more and just like
yeah, that's
figure
true.
out how to actually apply this like the appeal of certain spinners that you like to your spinning and also try to sometimes watch spinners that you don't like because it's important to diversify, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Like watching different kinds of spinning and analyzing in 0.25 speed or even frame by frame, I'd say.
Mhm. If anyone does not know, on YouTube, if you pause the video and press the period or the comma button on your keyboard, you can move the scrub thing frame by frame. So
Yeah,
that I've actually used that quite a lot and it's very helpful.
it
So
is useful. Like sometimes you have no idea what's going on and you need to just go frame by frame. So I just go analyze it, and I mean watching is nice for this visual effect and stuff, but you can't just, I mean, I guess there are only a few people who can just see the breakdown in normal speed.
yeah,
Most of us just need the slow-mo.
I guess for me, like I can kind of see it for simpler tricks, but I'm terrible at it for like competition or tournament type spinning.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I only
yeah.
see the twisted sonics in tournament spinning. Like I don't understand what you guys are doing now. Like it's like some weird finger cross or like some I don't even know what the names are. Like recently I just learned what a transparent sonic was. So like I'm like so out of the
What
loop.
is this? I haven't heard of that.
Wait, you don't know what transparent sonic is either?
No.
Apparently it's like a sonic hybrid where you do a sonic and let it spin on the bent finger.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe that's what it's called. I
Okay.
don't know. There's lots of weird names. I don't really know
Yeah,
what they
it's
mean
just a
anymore.
weird name, I guess.
But I'm kind of
I
excited
mean,
to see the competition regardless, just because I'm kind of back in it a little bit into pen spinning. So
yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool to watch, and I more or less get what's going on, but like this column skate round 5 combo, this World Cup, I mean, last World Tournament, I had no idea what's going on.
but could you tell which spinners you enjoyed watching?
In World Tournament,
Yeah.
Isaac I mean, his stuff were just, each round was so good that best spinner. Yeah, and Isaac, and Gollum,
Hmm.
and Dark Tea, and Padres, and Monheim.
Hmm. I actually
And
am pretty out of the loop because I think I was not there during that time. But yeah, Isaac won last time, right? I'm assuming.
yeah,
And it would make sense why you enjoyed his spinning so much.
I mean, not
I
only because he won, just, I mean, his round 5 was the best, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, like his combos were so great. Like I saw that he took power to next level, he took wipers to next level. He just made this crazy round 5 that it says, I
Hmm.
have no idea how long would it take me to copy this.
Yeah, maybe I should go back and watch some of this eventually if you guys enjoyed it so much. But I feel like this also leads into other conversation, which is like I actually personally don't really like competitions that much because of what certain
Why?
things that it does, right? Like competition is good, it's fun to do and like I think people there's value in it. But I feel like it's also important to remember that like being competitive isn't the main goal of pen spinning, right?
I
There's
mean, yeah,
people like
yeah, that's true.
me. There's people who just spin to like you can still do more technical stuff, but you don't have to join a competition. It doesn't have to be like always pushing the boundaries of pen spinning. You can make your style or your spinning very like different and iconic to everyone else, but you don't always have to like try to see if you're better than someone else because I feel like that's not really the point of competition really. I mean, you are trying to win, but like like for me, I competitions like are just more like people submitting a ton of videos and me just choosing who I like. I don't actually care about whatever the judges think because I just want to watch what I like, right? That's what really matters to me.
Yeah, true, true. Like for me, it's also like generate the hype, make more people active, make people submit a lot of videos, and
Hmm.
I
I
mean,
agree
for
with
me, it's
that.
just fun to enter and record something, and it's just this thrill waiting for the results
Hmm.
and seeing how bullshit are they. So,
Are you in World Cup? Are you in
uh,
World Cup as well?
yeah, I am. I am. But like, we're going for fun, like, record, show something nice, but not that try hard to win.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
I
mean, it is
mean,
World Cup,
I
right?
mean,
World Cup
still
is gonna
trying,
be.
yeah. Like trying a lot, but our main goal is not to win, but is to try and show something best that we can show.
Hmm.
Like show
Put your
something
best
new.
foot forward for your community, kind of.
Yeah, true, true. But it's not
That's
about
cool.
this winning. It's about this showing some different stuff, showing some hard stuff,
Hmm.
and just showing people new material. And because it's in a tournament, more people will see it and maybe get inspired.
That's true. Anything else you want to mention?
Anything else? No, sorry. No, I said, I mean, most of stuff I wanted to talk is like workshop and this style thing.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to like talk about like it's hard to talk about it like super in depth within the time we have. So,
I mean, why the, like,
it's
is
just
it that complex?
yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to like read my entire article like and just like narrate it for you guys.
Man,
But
like
I
just
don't
this general idea.
I can only,
Because
yeah, like I
like,
said before, I can say some general things.
yeah, and that's nice because if you said this general thing, then more people will just read this article. So yeah, without this, they might just be, okay, too long, I don't read.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know if you saw RPD's book. Like he calls it a book as well, right?
Oh man, that was TLDR for me.
I like skimmed through it. I took a look at it and I was just like, ooh, okay. I don't know if I can read all this, but let me read the introduction. Let me read.
I mean, for compared to like books, it's pretty short.
I guess so, yeah. But I think it's more
Yeah,
like a
but
textbook. Like it's actually like a
yeah,
textbook, right?
maybe. And
Like
also
he,
like compared to pen spinning stuff, it's like only book, I guess.
mhm. Lots of pen
I
spinning
mean,
history in
respect for
it.
making this.
Yeah, he put a lot of work. It's like ridiculous.
What you get from this? Because I haven't read it.
Oh, what did I get from it? I didn't get
Yeah.
that much from it. I just kind of read it. I skimmed through it a little bit, but basically it's like
Uh-huh.
it's about notation, right? RP's book is essentially
Oh,
about
okay.
notation, and it's like how to create like the best version of notation or like combining the best notations or something, explaining like, oh, the Japanese notation and also like all these the French notation, all this stuff. It's
Oh,
different
yeah.
like stuff that people have created in order to try to understand pen spinning in more of like a written format. I personally don't find it
Yeah.
super useful because I just record everything and I learn more visually.
Yeah, I
I feel
mean,
like
is notation even that important?
I don't think so. I mean, even RPD, he told me like I didn't think people would be interested in writing my book at all. Like that's what he told me. Like, and all of a sudden people were
Oh,
interested, even though nowadays he would agree that notation is not something that's super important. But whatever, I feel like I still want that to exist. Like I don't want like this notation book to not exist because it's interesting to see other people's like work done regardless of if you think it's useful or not because they obviously do they have a reason for putting that stuff out. Maybe they understand pen spinning better in like a written format better than most people. Like maybe if you're less of a visual learner like I am, like it'll help you more, stuff like that.
oh, might. It might. But like, even if you're not, I guess in explaining this visual stuff is essential to be
Hmm.
able to watch the combo and understand what's going on without the breakdown,
Yeah,
with only the video and slow-mo and frame by frame. But it's all about looking at it, not reading this.
yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree as well. But that is
Yeah,
basically
like
what the book is about. And there's also plenty of
breakdowns are
UPSB
useless.
history and like all
Oh,
sorts of pen spinning history in different sections as
oh,
well. So there's lots to be
much
read about
respect.
there.
Yeah,
He
it's
put it.
more.
RPD also put a little note for the workshop, and I was like, oh man,
Oh
I
man,
feel like
like
everyone is like being
your
very
work
appreciative of
appreciate.
like all the stuff I've done, and it feels really good to like have that feeling after you put so much work into like a project
Yeah,
for like a
because
year.
like workshop is huge and like it must be rewarding because
It
you see
is,
this
it is for
community
sure.
growing,
The best,
and if
like
you
the
left
best
it alone
feeling,
right now, it will still grow.
yeah, the best feeling that I can like explain to you as like a person who like organized like the workshop or like kind of directed it, I guess,
Uh,
um, is seeing
mhm.
people in the Discord server do like be left to their own devices and they're still doing, they're still doing stuff, they're posting stuff, they're
Yeah,
talking, they're doing
yeah,
stuff. I don't have to say anything. It's not like I have
yeah,
to
like
always try to keep it
yeah,
active. You guys are doing it yourselves now, and that's amazing, right?
yeah,
And that
like
feels
we
really good.
started it and now we can just leave it and it keeps going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that must be nice. Like, damn, that's the new PSB. But actually, I'm looking forward to this PSB website reactivation.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. There's lots of like interesting projects that are being made right now. Like I know you and Artec are thinking of making like a international thing. iColor right now. iColor's if you don't know who iColor's a old UPSB moderator. And he does a lot of like programming or like he knows a lot of like coding stuff. Basically, he made a
Oh, nice.
website called spinarchive.org. You might have seen it. It's
I haven't heard of this.
but it's a website that got created because he wanted to start archiving pen spinning. That's something interesting.
Oh, that's nice. I
Yeah.
mean, all those
So
resources, like not only tutorials, but those posts about this theoretical stuff, Like I used to read in this Mango server, there was this Penspinning theory,
Oh yeah,
like 20 weeks or something. And
yeah.
I gathered some
Are they
of
still
those
doing that or
into
no?
just one file. Sorry?
Are they still doing that stuff or no?
Yeah, yeah.
No, not so much anymore. Are they not doing that kind of theory stuff anymore?
I mean, the server is dead, and
Really?
this Mango server, I mean, it's not that active as Workshop, and I guess that this theory talk on Workshop just is right now just took place of this theory talk.
I'm just
I mean, of this
living under a
Penspinning
rock
weeks.
because over here I limit myself to one Discord server and that's my own for pen spinning. Well, actually I have a few others, but those aren't like main this English pen spinning community ones. But it's just like because I was working on this so hard, I was like I don't want to deal with all this other stuff. Let me just concentrate on this. I guess for my mental health, I was just like let me relax a bit, you know. Because I'm still a human being and I don't like
Yeah.
overly like
Uh,
overwhelmed by people and like sometimes like people who get upset and stuff like that it sometimes does get to you, you know, like, and it's just that's just how it goes.
yeah. No. But like, coming back to this theory stuff, I mean, your theory talk is doing pretty well, but I miss when there were just theory weeks, like 1 week dedicated to one stuff, like 1 week dedicated to structure, 1 week to practice, and it was just one huge brainstorm.
Hmm. That was actually very interesting. I think I was maybe not super active in Discord at the time, but I did check the Mango server a little bit, and I did see like the week whatever like discussion about stuff. And one time it was about style or whatever, and it was very interesting. I've actually thought about like doing something like that in this server, but as you know, I take forever to like actually do stuff, like do change things because I do a lot of like thinking about like how this will affect stuff and how do I like actually make it work and stuff like that. So,
Oh,
but I like you know how I know a lot of oldies, for example, right? Like think that forums are like still really useful for information because people like have to like think about their post when they post it and they can't just like post a bunch, you know? Like
yeah,
I feel
true.
like it's possible to make maybe like a like not a server a channel for like a certain topic that it'll limit you to how many posts per a certain amount of time, right? I can actually limit like a Discord channel, like how much you can post to like maybe a day, and it can actually,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's possible to make that sort of environment again, but just make it so
I
that
guess
people
it's,
actually think about their post a bit more instead of like chat speak kind of just dump their ideas all at once.
oh, yeah, 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 true. But
So
also,
that's an
I guess
interesting
it's like
idea.
why this theory weeks were successful is there was this role that you needed this role to post there. So
Oh,
not
right.
everyone could post there.
Yeah, yeah, I remember
And
that as
it
well.
ended up being only experienced people talking about this.
Hmm.
So I think that might be pretty useful too, because if anyone can post there, then it doesn't make that much sense.
Yeah, that's true. But it was mostly like, kind of like trying to emulate that forum style. But yeah, I see what you mean. But then I'd have to
Yeah,
like think about who I'm gonna give the role and stuff like that. It's a lot of like thinking and like working through that stuff.
yeah. I mean, if there's someone you don't know, but you chat for them for a while and they prove you that they actually understand this, then you can give them.
Hmm. Hmm.
But again, it's slightly more work for moderators, I guess.
Yeah, like I can't just like be like, oh, let me test, like give a standardized pen spinning test and be like, okay, how much do you
Uh,
know
yeah,
about? Like, how's your theory, pen spinning theory,
that would be tough.
SAT for pen spinners.
Oh man. Yes, it would be fun though. Like, what kind of questions would you have there?
I
Um,
don't know. I think there's like the very simple ones, but there's also like some memory ones, like ones where it's like if you remember certain historical events, like uh, what era did the old PDS like forum like come like start making their like statement
Man,
about what kind of spinners they are,
I
stuff
have no
like.
idea.
No, you don't know?
No.
I think old Pendosa was like 2003, 2007-ish, I believe. I feel like
Man,
2007 onward was like this KPSA era, right?
2007, I was in fucking kindergarten.
How old are you, Kate?
19.
Oh, okay, okay.
So like, yeah, don't expect me to know this stuff.
I don't blame you. It's all good. I mean, it's not something you would study as well. Like, I know your spinning is not like super inspired by old school Korean spinning or anything like that.
Yeah, not at all.
But just, like they basically were the first people to start making combos and understanding how to make them flow really well, I think, right? I think that's the history of
Yeah,
that.
I mean that old school Korean is just I've seen some of those videos and I guess it's just the basics of spinning, like the essentials that you just have to learn in the beginning.
hmm But I think the thing that people don't look at about Korean spinning most of the time is like like yeah, it's like simple tricks or whatever, but you should like take a look at the simple tricks that they are doing. They're even if like a current like JV MX spinner or like a like any MX spinner starts spinning a pen, none of them spin like a Korean old school Korean spinner because old school Korean spinners do a lot of weird linkages with fundamentals back then. Stuff that people don't do nowadays, right? So
Oh,
looking at
like
that is
this
very
effective
interesting.
use of fundamentals?
Sorry?
Like this effective use of fundamentals?
Yeah,
Like,
it is, right? Because people don't use fundamentals in that way anymore, right? People used to use like Sonic a lot in between tricks, and people don't do that very
uh-huh.
often anymore. There's like a lot less like twisted Sonics and inverse twisted Sonics and all that. People don't use that very much. So I actually take a lot of inspiration from them because I want to like implement some of this weirdness into my spinning, which is not
Oh, wow.
like with stuff that's like not super common to be seen, and like just start doing it. Like for example, like I really wanted to learn finger pass. I got inspired by Kabu from JV. He does a lot of finger passes, so like I just put like an entire finger pass in my combo or something like that, and it's a lot of
Oh,
fun.
wow. Entire finger passing combo sounds like, damn,
It's
never would think
tough
about it.
because I like you have to learn finger pass to a degree where it's smooth enough, and also you
Nah,
can do it in the middle of a combo. It's actually harder than I really
not
thought.
yet.
Yeah, but
Finger
it's a lot
pass
of
is
fun doing
hard.
that kind of stuff. Like I'm spinning for myself, right?
Yeah, yeah. And that's cool. Like, you don't really enter competitions, but your spinning still looks great.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And like, yeah, you don't, I mean, I guess you don't have to like go for competitions to make your spinning great.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like competitions ruin my
And
spinning
yeah,
because
really.
I joined a competition in the past. I joined like UPSB tournament back then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and doing that, experiencing that, I was just like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like my consistency for
Well,
everything felt really bad because I was filming for so long. It didn't feel like I was improving pen
yeah.
spinning. It felt like I was like rolling the dice whether I'm gonna be able to land this combo or not.
I mean, that's how World Tournament works. That's how any competition works, basically. Like, you don't get this consistency. You're just making hard tricks to be more or less consistent, but it's more of making them to be likely to happen than.
Unless your eyes suck, right? Unless your eyes suck,
I mean,
then you
yeah,
can
okay, but
you can do everything.
yeah, he can, but okay, he's just crazy.
But
Like
yeah,
for
I
me, it's
see.
like an half an hour or an hour of filming and getting one good combo.
Mhm.
Like
Like I
sometimes my
filmed.
consistency is like
What's the
one.
longest time you filmed though?
I mean, to get one attempt or few drafts.
Just like for one combo, or like just to yeah, just land it once basically. Longest time you filmed in one sitting, like just sit there and film
Oh
for
man, one sit. Because
yeah,
like
one
my
sitting.
longest time, I mean, in one sit it was Sunday. It was maybe 2 hours, but it was like 2 years ago or something.
Okay.
But the longest time I had needed to learn the combo wasn't in one sitting because I failed several sittings.
Oh, I see. So you like took a
And
break in between?
no, it was a 1 day filming for an hour, failed. Next day filming for an hour, failed. And in the end, it was like over 6 hours in total.
Oh, I see.
And I landed this with actually with a failure in the end.
Hmm.
But I didn't want it to refilm this. But
I
it was like a week of filming to get one attempt.
was this for a competition or something else?
No, it was actually a Polish promo.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I don't know.
Like I just aimed too high because I wanted no filler.
Gotta keep that combo structure nice and dense, right?
Yeah, and it's tough. Like not the material itself, but just this unbroken chain of events.
Yeah. I can't like me being able like just doing twisted sonics all the time. I can't. I don't know how you link hard tricks like after another. I guess Fel2 Fram's like the biggest expert in that.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's crazy.
The longest time I've spent filming like just sitting down. Like I felt like what you did was like way healthier. I just sat down in one sitting for like 3 hours straight. I did that one time,
Oh man,
and that felt really bad. And some people have even done like way more than that, like 5 hours or some shit, just sitting there. I'm
it's
like,
crazy. Like
oh my god,
nowadays I
guys,
do
like,
1 hour
whoa.
most.
You just feel like imagine like the mentality like that you have like while you're filming. It's just like it's like you feel so demoralized, right? It's just like, oh my
Oh
god.
yeah. I mean after 4 hours you just sick of this and I can't imagine this honestly. Like really, for me now 1 hour is the limit and I mean why should I spend more time in front of the camera at once?
Hmm. Like even back then, like I actually like practiced the combo beforehand a lot too. So like it's just to make my filming situation easier. Like it was just I don't know. But yeah, filming is a tough thing sometimes. And although I feel like World Tournament, like I don't know, maybe it's just the videos I've watched, but I feel like people had it seems like people have more consistency than usual. Maybe I haven't watched like the the bad clips or whatever, maybe, but
Man, if you saw like this raw footage of like 1 hour trying to land a combo,
oh my god.
then because people don't upload this and
Yeah,
it's only highlights.
yeah, that's true.
It's like just go watch live tournaments and they are so spammy because you just can't make a first try good combo.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know if you've seen like a video of Fel2Fan at a French gathering before. Have you seen that before?
I can I think I know what you're talking about, yeah. Okay, this
Yeah,
this was nice.
yeah, like Fel2Fan spinning
So like
at a
okay,
French.
it fell.
Yeah, like when at a French gathering, like he obviously Filter from obviously spends a lot of time on his combos, right? He does a lot of thinking and he like structures it in a very
Yeah,
particular
yeah,
way.
yeah.
But like when you watch him in like a casual like tag video or like a French gathering, he does like twisted Sonic spam or something or like some super easy trick, and he does like some insane trick in the middle, and then he does some random spam again.
Yeah, because like I mean that's how we do live combos, because it's so tough to just do solo end combos.
Yeah, exactly. But like that's I guess that's one of the reasons why I got kind of tired of it was just, I like my spinning, it turns out my spinning isn't like that, right? Like if you just freestyle, like my spinning isn't my competition spinning. So like I feel like I'm
Oh yeah.
not representing myself right, or like it just seems weird, so
I mean, freestyle is fun as well.
hmm
Man, like, you don't have to be this competitive type.
It's also interesting because you kind of have to like practice your freestyle in a way, if you know what I mean. Like
Uh,
if you, for example, like when you practice like a combo for something, right? It
mm-hmm.
ends up some of the links in it ends up being into your freestyle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you want to by learning tricks that make that end up being super consistent, you'll end up like developing your freestyle better. And
Oh yeah.
if you're really good at freestyling, you can plan your freestyle while you're freestyling, which is the whole
Oh,
point of
like
freestyle, right? So
just plan some time ahead.
yeah, you plan like, oh, I'm gonna do this trick and then this trick after, and then you can create a combo just like that. I actually kind of used to do that. Nowadays, it's a little more brain dead, but um,
Yeah.
like you can actually end up doing that eventually if you get better at it, especially when you like have like a very wide variety of like linkages and tricks you can do, right? Then that way
Yeah, like,
like, oh, this links into this trick, you can make it up as you
but
go.
is it still freestyle?
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. Is it? Even if you think about it? I guess it's hard to say.
Yeah, yeah. Like, if you think on the spot, like, one trick, what, like, one next link, then it might be bad. If you just did two links and then you're playing the entire combo, then is it really
Yeah,
freestyle?
I get you. I
I mean,
mean,
like,
I
if
feel
you're
like
using links, you
it's
can
just
do.
a universal umbrella term, right? For like all pen spinning in general. Like JB calls it FS for like any combo, I guess. So I don't know. But
Yeah, I mean, that's confusing.
yeah.
Because why? I mean, if they freestyle all this stuff, then cool, but I don't think so.
But have you ever? I remember like seeing like an Erver interview or something, right? A German gathering, and he said that a lot
Uh-huh.
of his combos are actually freestyle, but maybe it's just because he's really good and super consistent. So maybe.
Maybe, but maybe because I guess each person has their own definition of freestyle, and for me, if you're using linkages that you learned before, then it's not really a freestyle.
Mm.
Like you have to make linkages on the spot using only with single
Oh,
tricks
I see.
to
Like
make it like
completely
a
new.
freestyle.
It's like as if like you're rapping or like a freestyle, you mean?
Oh yeah.
That's your interpretation. I see. That's interesting. But in
It's like
reality,
if you're
like,
rapping, I
yeah.
mean, in if you're rapping a freestyle, you don't steal the entire bars, right?
hmm
Because that's not freestyle anymore. So now taking the entire linkages is not freestyle as well.
I guess so, yeah. But in a way, like, you technically like, pretty much everyone who freestyles just does the tricks that they're familiar with. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, it is, and it's hard to say, but also people tend to call freestyle what. I mean, I can't even say that it's not a freestyle because what's the true definition of this?
Well, that's the thing. We
Like,
don't have a proper definition of anything in pen spinning
yeah,
generally.
yeah, that's true.
That's why I guess we should start naming things properly. But in general, it's hard to like change the definition or like So
Or don't care that much.
yeah, I just don't care that much because it's not the
Yeah,
hugest.
yeah, like we might need this notation, but and these definitions, but at the same time, I don't think it's that important, and let's just focus on the other stuff.
But yeah, basically all of the. I mean, I'm assuming like since you talked about my spinning, I'm assuming you watched my solo. Most of those I just kind of filmed randomly. I mean, I sort of thought about the combo a little bit, but I didn't like
Uh-huh.
super like when you plan like a combo for a competition, right? Like a proper combo, you actually sit there
Uh-huh.
and kind of like figure out like what links into what and what it looks like and like turn
Yeah,
your hand
yeah.
around and do all that stuff. I didn't do that at all for those combos. So like my general like spinning like I guess workflow, if that's the right way to say
Uh-huh.
it, is you just kind of think kind of in general what your combo is gonna be like, and I just kind of do it. So
Oh, okay,
that's
like not even thinking about the links you're gonna use, or
yeah, not exactly thinking about it or like well, I mean I'm
okay.
kind of thinking about it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this or like, oh, I wanted to use this trick as the finisher, you know? So
Okay, but
yeah,
not all
eventually
of
you're
this.
like, okay, let me try to get back to that slot and then just use that finisher. Stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay, okay, I see.
When
So
you
like
generally plan things.
semi-freestyle?
I mean, that's not really a freestyle, is it, at that point?
Yeah,
But
but it's not planned as well.
yeah.
Like not entirely planned, right?
Mhm.
Hey, that's nice because if you're really doing this, then you're doing great job because like your combos look like not that freestylish.
Really. I
So
feel like
like
that's just because
nice,
I'm
nice,
doing
nice.
the same tricks and I'm just like familiar with them. That's probably why.
Like you're consistent with this, maybe. And yeah, actually, I don't know how it feels to just do same tricks. I mean, do tricks you can do for like 5 years or more. Like, how consistent will you be with them? How good will they look like? Because like you spin for a lot, and do you have some links that you are spinning basically all the time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like even
Like
as a
there's like
filler?
staples, right? I feel like there's tricks that everyone kind of knows, right? Like if anyone picks up a pen that's been spinning for a while, they'll automatically do certain tricks that they're familiar with. It's kind of like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Like it's insane how much control you have in them. Like if you're spinning for so long.
Yeah. I think definitely just
Like
like even just doing the same tricks for like a long ass time, I feel like you just get slowly like more refined or like just more consistent or just starts looking better for some reason, right?
yeah, yeah. Like you get like you can do this. I mean, 10 out of 10 times, I guess, and they just look good.
I wouldn't say like I'm super consistent at fencing. I feel like I have my times. Like maybe it's just because, maybe some days I'm like sleepy or whatever, or like my hands are dry. I don't know how
I
some
mean, yeah,
people.
a lot depends on your even your hand conditions.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's
sometimes I
like
feel like
Sunday
that.
you feel like it's perfect, yeah, but some days you just can't do even just the same.
Mhm. Feel like how sleepy you are, how if you're sick
Yeah,
maybe it like makes you like your mental state sometimes, like if you just feel like unhappy in general maybe. I feel like that
I mean, yeah,
affects.
it might affect, but does it affect that much actually? Like for me, if your hands are dry or you're feeling bad, then like if you just warm up a little bit longer, then you can get your hands back to this normal
That's
state.
true. That's true.
So like it's just a matter for a longer warm up for me. And
Hmm.
okay, so yeah, guess we can finish here.
Yep.
Thanks a lot for coming there.
Yeah, for sure, dude. It was very interesting being a guest instead of a host this time, because
Oh yeah,
in the
I have
past,
to
I've
watch
hosted
your
some
old
podcasts,
podcast.
right? Yeah. All right. Thank you guys
I
so
heard
much for listening.
legends. Yeah, so thanks a lot. See ya.
Bye bye.